here we are at the lovely disclaimer. I just want to voice my opinion that basically this will be my opinion on how you deal with online bullies. How you deal with them may be different, but this, in my experience, has been the absolute best way to deal with the nasties, the not nice, anyone who has anything mean to say about what you are doing. Again, your approach may be different, but this is what I've found that works and usually leads to a positive resolution. I've broken this up into some categories for you to go through, but just bear in mind, this is just my 2 cents. You can do whatever you feel is right.
All right, so not nice people on the internet. They do exist. They're not your favorite, but they're there. Here is how you can deal with them appropriately, professionally, and in a way that still makes you look pretty good at the end of it. I'm going to pop through a couple of good examples that I've personally gotten in different various forms and how you can best combat them without seeming like a total douche canoe. Anyways, here we go. Okay, so nasty comments. We all get them. The one troller that has the name of like Saint Pepe the Third and leaves you a comment of kill yourself. Now, obviously, they don't literally mean that. They're just keyboard warriors who are really pissed off for God knows what reason. They're probably in a real cranky mood and they're not having a good day, and for some reason, you just have a face that looks punchable. Don't know why. It happens. So the best way to deal with a really, really nasty comment is you have basically 2 options. Two options. Gosh, this is hard to do in puppy paws. So you can either ignore it and leave it, or you can delete it. Probably the worst thing you can do is to comment back. The reason for this being is they don't really care. If they're going to leave you a nasty comment like kill yourself or go bleep in hell for bleep, I'm not going to say the words there because not nice. Basically, they're not really looking for your opinion on the matter. They've already made up their mind. They hate you, and they aren't going to change it. And the best way to deal with it is to just ignore it. Honestly, just because they've taken time out of their day to be a jerk to you doesn't mean you have to take any time out of your day to be a jerk back to them. No matter how gratifying it may feel to tell them off, it's just not really worth it. Most of the time, these people leaving these comments are just very, very sad. They don't have a lot going on, or, they're just having a bad day, and you just happen to be their pick of the week for who to take out their anger on. Just don't feed the trolls. Feeding the trolls is bad. It never ends very well. Honestly, if they say something really mean to you, just ignore it or delete it. If you just don't want to see it there anymore, delete it. I've deleted plenty of nasty comments on my channel. You've probably never noticed because I'm very quick at deleting them. I've gotten things like kill yourself or aren't your parents proud that they raised a FAG? Fun fact, I'm bisexual, so that could technically fit, but I just chose to ignore it and delete it. Your suit looks like shit. Okay. I mean, looks pretty good to me, but you do you. Or, I hope you die in that effing thing. That was a fun one. Honestly, I wouldn't mind being buried in the suit. It is very adorable, but Helly would feel left out, so I don't think I would do that. And I think the last one is, nice video, I bet you live in your mother's basement. I do not. I actually live in my own apartment in New York City, but my mom has a very nice basement. I wouldn't mind living there either. So if you get a nasty comment like that, just ignore it. Not worth your time or effort. Honestly, the more you reply, the more fuel you give them to be angry douchebags. So just let them wallow in their own despair. Delete the comment, block them if they get nasty. Just, they ain't worth your time. Just ignore them. So, outright threats. This one comes on the heels of the RMFC incident. I know a lot of people had mixed opinions on that, but just to clear the air on where I stand with threats. Do not threaten anyone with physical violence, no matter how much you hate them. It's not a smart thing to do, and it generally doesn't end very well, especially if people can very easily find your personal information. That's what leads to people getting in some pretty precarious, deep shit. It's threatening to have people like doxxed or swatted in this day and age is a real threat, and it's not funny, But if someone does outright threaten you, do yourself a favor, screenshot the incident, um, see if you can find any information on the person, and if it seems like it's a credible threat, contact your local authorities. No matter how silly it may seem, it's always a good bet to contact the authorities if you think you are actually in danger. What you do not want to happen, or don't want to have happen, is if they are genuinely making a threat against you, for them to make good on that threat and for you to get hurt. Obviously, this is a very sticky situation because sometimes people say, like, I'd love to see you shot and stabbed and like run over by a car. I've gotten plenty of those things from ex-boyfriends. They haven't ever done it though. But if you honestly see a comment like, I'm going to come to X con and like shoot you, which hopefully no one ever has, do yourself a favor and contact both the con, the local authorities, and just get it settled that way. If it is not a real threat, they can understandably tell the person that that is not okay, if they can find enough information on them. Or if not, if con staff does think you are genuinely in danger, they can try to make arrangements for you to feel safer. At some events, I have had people, I can't say people, let's just call them exes, because that's what they are. I've had exes threaten to come and run me over with their car, hit me with a baseball bat, shoot me in the head, hit me with a baseball bat, and then run over me with a car. If you really think it's a real threat, then contact authorities. If you know that there's no way they could possibly do it and they're just tooting their horn, call them out on it. Just say, like, that is not okay. You can't do that. And keep screenshots just in case they do it again and mean it that time, because it never hurts to have a little bit of evidence on your side. But if anyone makes a personal threat against you that involves pain, injury, violence of any sort, just keep it in your back pocket. Screenshot it, report them if it looks serious, and if they continue to issue personal threats, block them on whatever channel they have been doing so, but do not delete the receipts. Keep those, because if they ever make good on that promise and you have to go to court, it is always good to have that in your back pocket to prove that there was, reasonable cause for them to have done that, and that you have proof that they had threatened it, and it just makes the whole court case a whole lot easier to win. Thankfully, I've never had to do that. But I have had friends that have had to, and it is not pretty, and it's always good when you have some evidence on your side. Bewares. Blech. Nobody likes them at all. Well, that's not true. I like reading them. I know it's bad, but sometimes I like reading the really, really goofy ones. How do you accurately respond to a beware, whether it be on you as a person or you as a crafter, or just on you as a customer? I've seen plenty of customer bewares go out. They are not flattering. One of the reasons that these are so scary is sometimes they'll take exactly what you said in context, and sometimes they will not. Sometimes they will provide ample evidence of you being terrible, and sometimes they will make it up. The really best way to fight a beware, no matter if you are a business or an individual, is to respond politely. If you do want to go against a beware, do yourself a favor and try not to drag the other person in the process. If they're writing a big beware on you because there was some miscommunication that went down, then address that. Say that, you apologize profusely for, whatever situation occurred. It must have been a miscommunication, that you are so sorry it happened. Here's all the evidence to suggest that you thought what you were doing was correct. It will not happen in the future. You apologize profusely, and if it keeps going from there, once it turns into nasty hate comments, again, what do we do with nasty hate comments? We just ignore them, because once it goes to the level of like, oh, you should blank in hell, you blah, 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 it's just not worth your time and effort. It's really not. Focus on you. Just focus on you. It's not worth it. Now, if you have genuinely goofed up and the beware is truthful, probably the best way to approach it is honestly. Go about it saying, I did not realize that these were the terms, or, I misread something. I'm in the wrong here. I am sorry you had this experience with me. It's not typical of what really happens. I am so sorry. In the future, I promise I'm not like this. Here are some sources of people who I've worked with in the past who have not had that experience. This was a freak accident. It won't happen again. I sincerely apologize that this happened with you. I mean, I could not be more sorry. I wish you all the best. Because if you take the high road, it does make you seem like a genuinely great person. What you do not want to do with a beware is respond in kind. If you've gotten this nasty beware of someone like basically ripping you to shreds, what you do not want to do is rip them back. Ripping them back does not make you the bigger person. It just makes it look a little more suspicious that you're so defensive. And I can say this because I have worked in a PR-like field and I have seen the repercussions of responding in kind. It's not good. You have to be the bigger person on social media. Whether you're 15 or 50, acting with a professional demeanor on social media or wherever is really crucial. That's your best foot forward in any situation. The way you present yourself on social media, on YouTube, on anywhere as it may be, has to be professional because that is the first impression anyone is going to have of you. If the first impression of a potential customer is watching you rip another customer to shreds, it's not going to make them want to hire you. If the first interaction a fursuit maker sees of you is you trashing your fursuit maker, they're not going to want to work with you. It doesn't matter how much you can pay or how great your fursuits are or how amazing your art is. If the first thing they see is you get really, really defensive and frankly immature in some situations, they're not going to want to work with you because they've already determined that you're going to be that kind of person with them, regardless of whether or not you're going to do that. And it's not very flattering at all. One good example of this I can give, actually two, I can give you two examples. One example of a beware that I issued quite a long time ago against a wire wrapper was that I had found that this wrapper had a history with another crafter friend of mine who will go unnamed of demanding things and then threatening to kill herself when she didn't get them. Not ideal. So this would happen once, this would happen twice, this would happen 3 times. And then finally, I got concerned because I thought, oh my God, is this girl going to kill herself? Like, oh my God, this is really, really serious. So I contacted her and asked if she was okay. And she was fine. I was like, okay. And then she posted another one being like, oh, I think I might as well end my life. My life is a swirling abyss, like live journal style depression. And I'm just like, Jesus shit, like, is she okay? So I reached out to her and apparently she was upset because she couldn't get like a spirit hood or something. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of dumb. And then she did it again and again, and it became a pattern and I got really, really concerned. So I made a video beware, knowing full well if I made a text beware, it would probably get lost in the noise. So I made a video beware stating how concerned I was because there was clearly something not mentally right with this girl. And I got a response all right. She made this long ass video, which is now down, she deleted it, basically calling me a bully, saying that what I had done was a hate crime. She wasn't a minority, and neither am I. I mean, I'm white. She is too. And calling it a hate crime, saying that I was threatening this and that, and she was scared for her life, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, what the fuck? So naturally, the first impression a lot of her new customers got was that she was batshit out of her mind, which she was. But that's not healthy, and it's not good. And as a result, like, she lost a lot of business from it. And I was just like, I didn't want to hurt your business. I just want to know what is wrong with you. Are you okay? Do you need to see a therapist? Like, is there something going on? And it was just her manipulative way of getting what she wanted. And when she responded with an in-kind beware, it blew up in her face. It did not end well. I believe my original video is still up if you can find it. And oh, Nelly, that was a situation that if she had just left it alone or responded with polite apologies, I would have probably deleted the video. But because she responded the way she did, not only did I keep the video up, I circulated it to all my crafter friends, being like, beware of this chick. She is not safe to work with. And obviously, not a very good solution to that. But that's one of the good reasons you don't respond in kind. Another instance of, responding to a pseudo beware is I made the Furry Raiders video. You guys might remember it. I stated that I was not fully sure if I would consider the group Nazis or not, that I had some evidence to suggest that maybe there was something underlying there, but that I wasn't 100% sure. Now, Foxler did reply to it, but he did reply at first with like a snarky comment, but then we had a discourse, which got me kind of interested. Usually I would expect angry yelling and rah, like what we typically get in the community, but what I got was like interesting, introspective discussion. A couple days later, I got some contact from Al Capone, had a full interview, had a bunch of question marks in my head corrected with, some genuine information. And even though I still would never probably join the Furry Raiders, because A, I don't have time, and B, I just don't care for the armband, and C, I don't really have time, I now know more about that group, and my reaction to that group is not as inherently negative because they came at me with constructive criticism and actual information than just responding in kind with like nasty comments and hate speech and what have you, because as much as people like to knock them, I do have to commend them on the fact that they do remain fairly professional and polite in their interactions with people who are genuine interest in what the group is about. So in that situation, if they had responded with hate and anger, I probably would not have given them the time of day. I probably would have just been like, oh, well, they're just some crazy Nazis. No, because they actually came at me with, professionalism, politeness, and, some really good discourse, I'm now on completely fine terms with them. Do I agree with everything? No. Do I like their armbands? No. Would I ever join them? No. But if I bumped into them at a con, I would not be apprehensive or as apprehensive as I would have been, which means them being professional, did lead to a positive resolution. So that is why you do not respond to bewares with even nastier bewares. If you're going to put a beware up, make sure you have all the information there, and if they respond politely and concisely, try to work to a resolution with them, because it takes a lot to take the high road in that situation. So if they've gone through the effort of doing that, give them the time of day and really try to work out a peaceful solution. If they don't, well, you've done all you can do. Just let that fire wane out and burn out and fizzle into nothing, because that's ultimately what it's going to do. All right, so that is how to deal with different forms of online bullying, kind of specific to the furry community, but you could really apply it anywhere. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, as always. And if you want any more information on the 2 examples I listed, I can comment back the exact video links. I'm not going to put them in the description because that would honestly be a lot of work. But if you want them, I can comment back with those exact links and give you some more information. Until then, stay awesome. See ya!